Thank you very much indeed, Tony, and welcome, a real welcome, Lord Ranger.
Thank you.
I thought it'd be helpful if we each said a few words about each other, so that you at least are familiar with where we're coming from. I'm the current president of the Rotary Club of London, and I've been very enthused by the spirit shown by Tony and Mo for this project, and I'm putting myself and the club behind in support of their efforts. That's enough from me, I think. Ian, would you just like to follow that up?
Yes, I'm the vice president of the Rotary Club of London, and currently the president-elect. But because of the COVID situation, in line with other institutions and other organisations, I've offered to David that he serves a further year, because of course he hasn't been able to take part in any events, and therefore I would be the president the year after next. But the important thing is that we would like to see continuity in this project, and I'm on board with it and very keen that we pursue it.
Rajiv, just to complete the Rotary Club of London.
Yes. Good afternoon, gentlemen. I'm the foundation chair at the Rotary Club of London and have been in Rotary for the last 6 years. And well, a chartered accountant by trade and now a CEO of a property company, and look forward to our discussion today.
Thank you, Rajiv. Case, you're effectively the reason that we're here, in a sense. Would you like to explain your background?
Sure. I'm a past district governor in Rotary District 5080. And I was on a friendship exchange to Pakistan when the whole idea of an international peace park came about. I'm also the director on the Waterton Glacier International Peace Park Association, which is the very first international peace park that was created between Canada and the United States back in 1932. I live in Nakusp, British Columbia, Canada, and I'm actually treasurer of our club as well. Just recently, I came on to the board of the Kashmir Paradise Project. So yeah, it's really exciting to meet you, and thank you for the opportunity to present our initiative to you.
Thank you.
Tony, would you pick up on that?
Okay, so a brief background. I'm born in Slough. That's where Mars Bar started. And my parents come from Punjab, Jalandhar. My grandparents are from Sialkot. So this is the connection. Now, like everybody else, I'm guilty of not looking behind the scenes, but just going along with the flow. Indians don't like Pakistanis and Pakistanis don't like Indians. But over 30 years in Rotary now, and I met Muhammad Ayaz maybe 6 or 7 years ago, and he's a Pakistani, I'm an Indian, but when we met, nobody thinks whether you're Indian or Pakistani, we were just friends. And then one day, back in 2014, I was asked to represent District London for a polio program in Pakistan. I said yes, because that's what Rotarians do. And like a Punjabi, we say yes and think later. Our brain doesn't engage until after we said something, you see. It was a real eye-opener to think I'm going to Pakistan and we're kind of at war with them. And not many people said I should go. When I reached there, I was embraced like a brother. I could not have imagined, dreamt of, or wanted any more than I was received. And I was there only for 5 or 6 days. And it was there I'd heard about CASE, and they asked me to come on board the program because they needed people from India, because they already had a team put together for the Peace Park in Pakistan, and I agreed to do that in India. Now, fast forward a few years to today, we know it's a very difficult task to do a peace park, India and Pakistan together. So from the experiences of the past few years, what we've done is now we're marketing.
Tony, if I could just interrupt. Well, I think we'll come back to that. You've given us your brief background, but I'd like you to talk about the project separately shortly.
Sure. Okay.
Mo.
Yes. Can you hear me? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm basically here because of my late father, who was in the British Indian Signals, Indian Signals, and in his memory, I'm here because he later went on to be part of the Pakistani Army Signals, but he saw partition, and it's in his memory that I'm doing this project. It's my passion to see him, Indians and Pakistanis, reunite as brothers, and that's basically my passion behind it. If it wasn't for our friend Tony, who you can think of as your Brinner of the Magnificent Seven, I wouldn't be also part of Rotary. So I've got to thank everyone on this call, because I'm just a humble Rotarian and taking part in an incredible world-changing project. So thank you very much.
Rajiv, would you perform the honours of introducing Lord Ranger to us?
Yes, thank you, President David. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Lord Rami Ranger, CBE, to our group today. Lord Rami is the chairman of Sunmark Limited and Sea, Air and Land Forwarding Limited, two of Britain's fastest growing companies. They sustain thousands of British jobs with their export activities. Both of his companies have received prestigious awards from Her Majesty the Queen's Award for Export Achievement, and the Queen's Award for Enterprise in International Trade for an unprecedented 5th consecutive year. No other company in Britain has received this accolade to date, and in the process, his company has set a new British business record. Lord Rami has been recognized by Her Majesty the Queen 8 times, 6 times for business and twice personally for community service. He is a man of vision and works tirelessly to raise the profile of Asians in Britain, and has launched many groundbreaking initiatives to strengthen democracy and social cohesion in Britain. Lord Rami founded the British Asian Conservative Link to make Asians more publicly and politically spirited, and to encourage them to take part in the decision-making process in Britain. Also, Lord Rami is the co-founder member of the Hindu Forum Britain Society. Interestingly, Lord Rami set up the Pakistan, India, and UK Friendship Forum. He realized that we have to make a conscious effort to build bridges with the Muslim community. Lord Rami recruited prominent Pakistanis in Britain and launched the Pakistan, India, and UK Friendship Forum. This proved to be an instant success, and thousands of Pakistanis and Indians are now celebrating what unites them in Britain. And finally, he organized for the first time anywhere in the world the joint Independence Day celebrations of India and Pakistan in London, and in the process made history. This proved a watershed in the relationship between the people of India and Pakistan. And now they're openly talking about peace between these two countries, which had not been experienced since independence in 1947. Lord Rami Ranger, welcome to our group. I now hand you over to immediate past district governor Tony Sharma.
Thank you very much.
Well, actually, do you want to deny any of those statements, Lord Ranger, or do you want to make any comment on what Roy?
I have to give him a brown envelope afterwards.
Okay.
Rajiv is a very nice, kind gentleman. As you know, he's a very refined character, highly educated, 10 times more than me. And what can I say? I'm here because of him. He's determined to drag me in. It speaks volume for his commitment for this project. So I'm very happy to be with you today.
Thank you. I was going to ask Case if he would just tell us a little bit about what, in Rotary terms at least, a peace park is. before asking Tony to talk about the Indus Valley project. Case, would you like to say something about Peacebox?
Sure. And Lord Ranger, it was all by accident that I am here in this capacity as president of the Indus Peace Park Society. In my governor training, the governor before me had asked me to sit in on a meeting with the Waterton Glacier International Peace Park Association. I knew nothing about it, but I went in his stead. And basically, I fell in love with the concept of two countries establishing a common bond between them. Now ours, between Canada and the US, was started in 1932. It's by Rotarians from the province of Alberta, Canada, and the state of Montana. And every year, there's an assembly where we reaffirm our bonds of friendship between our two nations. And then later on, in my governor training, I decided with my wife that we wanted to do a national polio immunization. And so it was actually in Hawaii at governor training that I decided, without my wife's permission, that I was going to go to India to do a polio vaccination trip, not knowing that she had gone to a separate session and wanted to go to Ethiopia on a polio immunization. So when we told the governor before me what our plans were, he said, well, why are you going to India? Why are you going to Ethiopia? Why not go to Pakistan? Because our district has already had a friendship exchange with Pakistan, and they want to do another one. So my goal was to do a polio immunization. If I could help my district, so be it. So I canceled everything. My wife canceled. And that's how we ended up accidentally in Pakistan. Now, the thing is, like Tony said about his experience, the school massacre at Peshawar had occurred, and we decided, amidst all sorts of concern from friends, neighbors, family members, why are you going to Pakistan? It's going to be so dangerous. But we knew that we were going to be with Rotarians, and so we went. And like Tony, I could not believe the hospitality that I received while I was over there. We saw so many Rotary projects. We went to schools, orphanages, clinics, and there were a number of touristy things that were part of the trip. 3 in particular. One was to see the fort in Lahore. The second was to see a cricket match in Faisalabad. Now, the cricket match was denied to us because of rising tensions, and the Rotarians were concerned about our safety as white people in Pakistan, foreigners. The second thing that was denied to us was the changing of the guard ceremony at Wagah. And again, for the same reasons. And so when that was denied to us, I thought about the mission of our Waterton Glacier International Peace Park Association, which is to promote the idea and to create further parks in the world. And that's when I suggested to our host that maybe that no man's land between the two countries could be changed into something really positive, like an international peace park. And that's how the idea got started. 2 years later, I met Tony in Atlanta at a Rotary International Convention. And a year after that, I met Mo in Toronto at the International Convention. And that's how it all happened. By accident, by chance. And it's been a wonderful relationship. And now I've met the 3 key people in the Rotary Club of London, and now you, Lord Ranger, and we are moving forward despite COVID. So is that as far as you want me to go, David?
Thanks very much indeed, Case. Yeah, that is. I think Tony's quite keen to get his presentation underway. Tony, explain to us all, the Indus part of the Peace Park plan.
Can I bring Mo in to explain the Indus part, because this was his idea?
Yeah.
I'll come in.
Okay, whichever way the two of you want to do it. Whichever way the two of you want to do it. Yeah.
Mo, please start with the Indus idea.
Yes. I mean, when we're looking at this project, we felt, well, what have we actually got in common between India and Pakistan? And we've got the Indus civilization, which is over 5,000 years old, equivalent of the Egyptian civilization. We don't have a Rosetta Stone, so the language has never been deciphered. But that was the basis of what we were putting together, was to find something in common to gel the countries together and create a peaceful environment. The Indus civilization had no hierarchy, no caste system. It was very peaceful. There were masters at management of water and the climate around them in the sense of the environment. And we felt this was a good way of getting people together, because the civilization cannot be eclipsed by 1947, which was a year of madness. So we want to stick to something that will actually is our common cultural and historical DNA. Thank you.
Okay, so Lord Ranger, you've seen, I believe, all the background information, what we did, what we're doing. So let me explain where we're at. And along the way, we've changed direction a couple of times, because we were insisting we will open the park at the same time on both sides of the border and open it as one. Every time we went 10 steps forward, something happened. Kashmir happened, the bombings happened, the pilot was, the aircraft from India and the pilot was taken into custody, etc. So the tensions always made us go 10 steps back every time we went forward. So we changed our idea in that, let's make 2 peace parks and join them at a later stage. That way we have something tangible to move forward with. So we then discovered that in Pakistan, all the land by the border is under military control. India doesn't have that situation. So we were lucky to meet Jagdish Sarwar, the governor of Punjab, in London. He was here on a private visit, but because of some of the connections we had a 10-minute slot to meet him in central London in a private hotel, which ended up in a 1-hour meeting, if not more. And the bottom line is, he loves the idea, because to build a park that we propose and then to join him is something he wants to do as well. But what he said very correctly, that Pakistan cannot give land to what he called a Western organization called Rotary International. What they can do is give it to some Pakistani people, albeit under the Rotary banner. So a team of our Pakistani colleagues went to Governor House, met Jagdish Sarwar, and he suggested to look at land at the Kartarpur corridor area, because they have in place a lot of immigration and all the sort of security things already in place. So our team went, and the next step was, last March, we were due to go there, meet with him, and possibly meet with Imran Khan as well, and to sign an agreement for land donated to Rotary in Pakistan. And Rotary in Pakistan had already put together what they're going to do there. COVID hit, flights were cancelled, that never happened. So on the India side, we can't do anything until we know exactly which land we will get. So once we get that piece of land on the Pakistan side, we will look at the land on the other side of the border, and then it's our job to get that land at whatever cost it is. So that's where we're at right now. We had reached out to Captain Amarinder Singh, the Chief Minister of Punjab, and we got as far as his personal secretary, who asked for dates to meet, but because of COVID again, that never happened. So that's exactly where we're at, but we're going to build 2 iconic parks, and the reason for the parks is the Peace Park. However, to make it politically correct in the current climate, what we're saying is we're building individual parks. So the Peace Park will become a Rotary Eco Park of Excellence. And in that Eco Park of Excellence, we will add the benefits that will benefit the people of the local area in Pakistan, Punjab, and in Punjab and in India. So for example, let's say by the Kartarpur where the land is, if there is no specialist maternity hospital, Rotary will build one. So it's always, to my mind, you have to think of it as in, what's in it for me? Why would the Pakistani government, why would the Indian government give the land? Well, they're going to get state-of-the-art medical facilities. It could be educational facilities. And we're basing it all around the 7 areas of focus, which is all, which I can go through it, obviously, but I won't bother you at this time. But we want to build something which will benefit the local community, benefit the local economy, and because it will be such an iconic park, it will bring international tourism there as well. So that's the way we're looking for both sides. And then, like the Berlin Wall came down, so will this wall come down. So we're trying to position ourselves in the right place, in the position for that to happen. Over back to you, President David.
Thank you very much indeed, Tony. It's very clear. I'd now like just to ask my Vice President, Ian Balcombe, to say something about the Rotary Club of London, which might help explain why we're chairing the meeting today. Ian.
Lord Ranger, again, thank you for your time today. You may possibly know that Rotary was formed in 1905 by Paul Harris, a businessman, and it became international in 1911 when a Rotary group was started in Winnipeg. Paul Harris's representatives came over to the United Kingdom, and the Rotary Club of London then met in 1911 for the first time and was the first club to be chartered outside North America in 1912. We currently have 115 members. Baroness Thatcher was an honorary member, as is Prince Philip for many years, and we hope more years to come. And your colleagues in the House, Lord David Hunter the Wirral, is a member in his own right, as is Lord Lumber, a member of the Rotary Club of London, and Doreen Miller, who you may have known, Baroness Miller of Hendon, who sadly passed away now, is a past president of the Rotary Club of London. So I hope that gives you a bit of background to the Rotary Club of London and and our influence within Rotary, as it were.
Thank you, Ian. Really, we've been involved with challenges like this in the past, and we see ourselves as having the will to overcome minor difficulties, and that's really why we're engaged. We want to help this particular project overcome the barriers and get to where they see peace. Rotary and Peace the world over is our toast every week, and this to me is an example of that. I'd now like to ask you, Lord Ranger,
President David, if I could just add, I do apologise, Lord Ranger, but we also meet in Chesterfield Hotel in Mayfair, which you've included in your title, Mayfair as well. So it makes a nice synergy.
So having explained why we're here, really, I'd like to ask you now, Lord Ranger, how do you think you would like to get involved with helping this project?
Thank you very much for inviting me. I'm really excited, and I commend your vision and your ideas. And Mr. Johnson, I have been involved. As you know, my background, I was born in Pakistan, which is now Pakistan, a place called Gujranwala, from where the famous Maharaja Ranjit Singh was born. It was a famous city. It is still a very good city in Pakistan. My father was he was a police inspector with the British police. He was double graduate at that time, BSc Honours LLB. So he worked as a public prosecuting inspector with the British police and received 29 commendation certificates for good work. And And unfortunately, one day he was asked to open fire on unarmed protester in Sargodha, which he refused because they wanted to give petition to the commissioner against the appalling condition of INA prisoner, Indian National Army. The Indian Subhash Chandra Bose, a revolutionary leader, has created an army to fight against the British. So anyway, but they were treated very badly, like the IRA in this country. Anyone you wanted to put in prison, you would just accuse him being a member of the INA. So my father said they are not writing, they are not armed, let them. But the superintendent was Mr. Scott, a very senior officer. He said, no, this is my order. You disperse the crowd. My father took his revolver, handed over the revolver to this superintendent. He said, look, you obey your own order. I'm not going to have another Jallianwala Bagh. If you remember the massacre of Jallianwala Bagh, where innocent people were killed. So my father was then posted to a tribal area of Dera Ghazi Khan. It's a very unruly area where he got disillusioned. He left the police. He was a lawyer by profession anyway. So he came to a friend who happened to be a Muslim friend in Multan, where he started his practice. And my father was a brilliant, very intelligent person. He always stood first. He always was first in his class, first in his exam, everywhere. He was an amazing, amazing guy. So his practice shined, and he realized that the British wanted to divide countries on the basis of religion. And being a visionary, he could foretell the consequences of religious disharmony. He pleaded with the then Muslim leader, including Jinnah, not to cut and run and not to fall for British divide and rule policy, which had turned into divide and run. If you create a country on the basis of hatred, how will you remove that base? Therefore, please don't fall for it. India will be secular, democratic country with one person, one vote. Together we'll make it our destiny. And he further pleaded that you were not dividing India, you were also dividing Muslims of India and rendering them weak forever. And his legacy, which he said 74 years ago, has come true. We have 3 wars. Unfortunately, one day, DAV school, which is a Hindu school, student took out a peaceful procession against the division of India, and they got caught in a communal riots. So my father, being a community leader, went to rescue them. He managed to save the student, but he was killed at the age of 42, there and then, for Hindu-Muslim unity. So I'm a posthumous child. So therefore, I've not seen my father. I was born 2 months after his assassination. So, but thank God we had a remarkable mother who was very, very, again, vision of a person. Today I came to this country with nothing. And today you can see it's all about vision and common sense. You don't have to be Oxford or Cambridge graduate, but you need to have vision and common sense to use your logic to where we are. And I came, at a time when Britain was a hostile place, a lot of bigotry, prejudice, racism everywhere. And, you were treated like dirt because anyway, but that was the time in 70, we had to remain positive in a negative situation. And with the time, we have changed the attitude of the British people through demonstrating that we are a positive force, we work hard, we add value. And look at this today. Everything is changed. Politically, we changed the scene also, as you heard from Rajiv, that we set up British Asian Conservative Link, because in business, people headhunt. In politics, people actually undermine others to surge ahead. Nobody give you a chance. So either you or me. So therefore, it was so wrong in a democracy to have a major political party not sharing opportunities to the ethnic growing number. And again, they were scoring their own vote. A vote to the other party is a loss of 2 to them. But politicians are not that business savvy. So we had to really convince them that when a bad employer doesn't look after his staff, the staff goes and work for the competition. So you are sending us, we're Asian people, we share your values, we want to work hard, we look after children, family. Yeah, we don't want benefits or whatever. We are trying to do our best, but you don't give us any. We are good doctor, good accountant, good lawyer, good solicitor, good businessman, but not good MP. People like Jeffrey Archer, Neil Hamilton, they are better. You prefer color to caliber. But anyway, it was a 20 years of struggle. I became a very bad boy of the Conservative Party. They threw me out of the party. Mr. Johnson, it's very easy to promote yourself, but very difficult to promote a cause. When you promote a cause, they think you're a troublemaker. So I became a troublemaker. When they made me a peer, I couldn't believe. Here I was embarrassing them on every event, every function, that you are not treating us well. You are a racist. You are, you prefer color to caliber. Blah blah blah. Anyway, but that just shows the British sense of tolerance and fair play. They realized that this man was not fighting for his personal gain. He was fighting for a democracy. And with the work we did over 20 years, I didn't do it alone, but I had a group of people. So the work we did, in fact, made our party stronger and democracy richer. So we're all win-win situation. And the Conservative Party is now truly inclusive party. You have to start. They said the longest journey begins with the first single step. I'm glad you people have taken a step. And when the bombing of 2007 happened, of London Underground, we took initiative that this is the time for we to work hard to build bridges with the community, which has been marginalized by the action of few of their people. So I was very surprised. There was so much goodwill on both sides. And we said, look, we now have separate countries. Our founder father never wanted us to be a rival. They thought that having a separate country will give us better chance of progressing, but we've gone the wrong way. And we have, but anyway, I am a bit critical of Pakistan in this one. The reason being that it's a small country, cannot fight with a very big country economically. And if you fight with the help of Americans and Chinese, you will pay a very heavy price, like the Pakistani already paid. When a foreign body enters your body, it will leave you restless. And Pakistan allowed such a big foreign body, America, to be in their system, which changed the character of Pakistan. I'm born in Pakistan. All my friends are Pakistani. It's a wonderful country, beautiful people, full of love, very, hospitable. If you go there, I go there, Pakistan. And the 20 years of work we did, our friendship. But again, as Tony said, we have suffered one setback or the other. We had Mumbai terrorist attack that created a lot of hostility against me and my family by the Indian people, that you're promoting friendship with these guys, and look, they're killing innocent people. And then there was a attack, so many other bits and pieces. But anyway, I won't go there. So coming back to the president, so few months back, when you met the governor, Professor Chaudhry Sarwar, Mohammed Sarwar, I also met him, and he very kindly gave me an award. He said, because of the work you've done under Pakistan, India, and UK Friendship Forum, that led to the opening of Kartarpur Corridor. Now, this is a miracle, by the way, Kartarpur Corridor. This is a great. And friendship between India and Pakistan will transform the subcontinent. It will also unite people of Indian and Pakistani origin in Canada, in America, in United Kingdom, in Australia. So it will actually improve social cohesion in those countries. I'm so glad that you people have taken the initiative to bring. There is so much benefit. I mean, I always say, because I have the connection with the highest level of Pakistani leaders. I have an invitation from Governor Sarwar. Come anytime. He called me the other day when I congratulated, him on his son becoming the leader of the Scottish Labour Party. So he was so humble. He missed my call, but then he called back and he said, "Thank you very much. We're waiting for you. We are fed up with war." And he's a very peaceful man, very nice man. If you go on the Pakistan-India Friendship Forum website, you will see that I honored him when he became the first Muslim member of parliament in the United Kingdom. He remembered those. And anyway, so he gave me just a award to say that your work has opened up the Krata, now you must come. So I was there. I was invited by the government of India to witness that miracle taking place. And I think Pakistani government could not do more. They've done so much to show. And the other thing is, you have to be at the right time with the right idea. The time is right now, because if we do not have friendship with India, the Chinese will do what the Americans did to Pakistan, because there is no such thing as free meal. You all know, if you take a young lady out for dinner, the next thing you want to take advantage. So therefore, there are no such thing as free meal. So Pakistanis are now again becoming dependent on a superpower. They don't have to. I mean, the history of India is very simple. They won war against them in 1971. They created Bangladesh. They could have held on to the Bangladesh. It was part of India. British had no mandate, no referendum, no plebiscite to decide. They just draw a line. It was imperial power. Britain of that time is totally different to Britain of today. Now they are bending backward to make sure there are law against racism, there are law against discrimination. They are trying to give opportunity because we are now British. Yes, so therefore they can't score their own goal by discriminating against a community. And no country can move forward if you leave any section of your population behind. So things are changed. Britain is not the same Britain which ruled the world. They had to do what they did. But today we are talking about a country where I am British, very proud to be British, and among those who touched the life of almost everyone in the world. So I'm very patriotic, very proud to be British. And so things are now here. So I think Kish has done a remarkable job in giving you this idea. You're an international organization. You have a gravitas with you. You could do what ordinary people like me could not do, but you could do because you're an international organization. But coming back to a practical solution, they said things are desirable but not practical. It is desirable. First of all, we must not talk about breaking the walls or making the country one. People will not accept that. I can just tell you, because they are very proud people. Pakistan has its own army, is a nuclear power, is member of United Nations, member of Commonwealth, member of SAARC. So they have their own currency, their own police, everything. So they are now a sovereign nation. And for us to think that we want to, as the Qaeda-e-Azam once said, no one can undo Pakistan. So let's not even go down that road. It will frighten people. It will cause you more problem than all we can do is to live like Canada and United States. Yes, so we have a good relationship, working relationship, and with that, the beneficiary is Pakistan. The biggest beneficiary is Pakistan, because Pakistan is created in an area from the Sikh religion originates. As you can see, the Sikh religion is one of the most successful community in the world. During the COVID pandemic, the only community which was praised by the Americans, the Australians, the New Zealand, the Canadian, the British were the Sikh, because they don't convert people. Their emphasis on service to humanity regardless. Yeah, equality for all is enshrined from the day one. Women empowerment is there. Religious tolerance is there. It's based on interfaith teaching. It has taken the teaching of Hindus, Muslims, Sikhs, as a mark of respect to every faith to unite. So, I'm a Sikh, very proud to be Sikh, that we can get on with anyone and everyone. Even in Canada, they are doing a great work. But there are some misguided fools who want to divide Punjab again and bring more bloodshed into the Sikh. You cannot divide countries. You cannot. They're not, a building you can divide, because when you create a country like Pakistan, where 1 million people were killed, innocent people, including my father, tens of million people were made refugees, including my family. I started my life in a refugee camp. Do we want to do the same thing again? I think we should learn from the history and make our future. We should not let history repeats itself. What happened in Pakistan, India at that time, because we were under a colonial rule. But now India will not give even an inch of land to Kashmiris or Khalistanis or anyone. Chinese are trying to take some part of India, and Indians are they stand resisting them with all the force at their disposal. So if country like China cannot take advantage of India now, and India is now the biggest arms buyer. India is no longer a fragmented country where you could, people were fighting among themselves. India is united thanks to British rule. They created roads, rail, links, currency, civil service. So you created the modern India, the British did. But although you did one thing wrong, but everything else was right, that India is now a emerging power. It's number 4 economy in the world, and it has the probably second or third largest army. So they are not going to allow anybody. And I plead with Pakistanis that what concept you did was wrong. I talked to them very frankly that no country should discriminate against a section of people on the basis of religion or gender. If I want to follow Ahmadiyya's faith, so be it, as long as it benefit Pakistan. If I want to be Christian, so be it. You do not tell me that I have to eat this food, I have to wear this clothes, I have to pray this way. You are damaging yourself. You're spinning at the same place while the rest of the world is surging ahead. In 1947, 2 countries were created. One to promote people on the basis of their religion, and one to promote regardless of religion. And you can see the difference. Where Indians are going, they landed on Mars, they're on Moon, they are now, have the supersonic planes or whatever. And Pakistan is already in financial difficulty. So therefore, I feel for Pakistan, a peaceful, prosperous, progressive Pakistan is not only good for Pakistani, but it's good for the world, neighbors. And I also plead with Pakistani leaders that the Kashmiris are free to form their political party. They're free to elect their leader. They're free to run their country, state as they deem fit. But what they can't do is use a religion card to devalue their fellow citizens. And I think we have to resist that. I'm a devalued citizen of Pakistan. Yeah, and I'm the most decorated man in the United Kingdom. The brain drain which took place in 1947 because religion, that you will become second class overnight, not on the basis of your merit or qualification or achievement or education, just because you follow a religion, which is anyway. So unfortunately, I'm just giving you the background. So let's come back to what we are today. What has happened is happened. We have to draw a line. We have to look forward to better things. And I think there is a mood in Pakistan. India always want to have peace with Pakistan. India is always, but unfortunately, people who know Kargil, which happened, was terrible experiment by General Musharraf when they had agreed to keep away the armed forces from that area, and he came over. Anyway, whatever happened. So now the mood is different. Indian economy is doing very well. The Sikhs originate from Pakistan. There are 30 million Sikhs. Their holy Makkah or the holiest shrine is in Pakistan. The birthplace of their prophet is in Pakistan. 300 odd gurdwaras in Pakistan, Sikh historical gurdwara where Sikh gurus actually visited are there. The Sikhs are dying to go there. They want to visit. The trade between India and Afghanistan can go through Pakistan to China, Iran, other places. You don't have to keep such big armies if we are friendship. The benefits are huge. We can collaborate on humanitarian projects like saving lives or COVID or space program. So there is so much we can do together, and as somebody said, the Indus civilization. We are one. We are all one. We were just divided by a power, which is fair enough, but our history, heritage, culture, religion, language, food, even to the extent of abusive word are the same. So therefore, there is nobody more closer to India, then the people of Pakistan and Bangladesh, and we are now on this on 21st century, and we have to move forward. And I think you have a chance of succeeding if you just start with the Kartarpur corridor. If you can start, because that corridor is already there, where people can come without visa from India. Pakistani don't also can come there without visa. Pakistani don't. Anyway, but if within the complex of Kartarpur, if you can, it's a very long corridor, by the way. I have been there. It's not just small. It's few miles, 3-4 miles long. Within that, because the barbed wires have already been installed, so people can't escape from here to there. So they can come to Kartarpur, they're all secure, and they can go. Within that complex, you will have a much better chance of getting first project park. And if you have that hospital in Kartarpur to complement the peace between the two countries and humanitarian ground, I think you will get a lot of support from the Sikhs even. Yeah, and Sikhs, believe you me, I'm not praising them. The only community which can give you food 24/7 in their Gurdwara is the one who works hard. If I can't secure myself, I can't secure you. Nobody can feed you 24/7 if you go to, I mean, Keith will probably lives in Punjab. Vancouver is the second Punjab of India. I mean, there are so many Gurdwaras there. Again, you can go there anytime and have a food. Yes, am I right, Keith? Yeah. So therefore, let's capitalize on the idea you people have, and I will be able to bring. I have a lot of good Pakistani friends who also believe that we cannot just keep on spinning at the same place. We cannot consume ourselves with hatred when there is so much. There are more Muslims in India than there are in Pakistan. If they can live happily, peacefully, and they don't want to leave India for Pakistan. Bangladeshi Muslim are 5 million of them in India already, and India is trying to build a barbed wire to keep them out. So India is not that bad. How some leader say the Muslims are not safe, just the rhetoric. So we have got Bollywood, the biggest film industry is controlled by the Muslims. We have president who are Muslim. We have defense minister, foreign minister, education. So, chief of the army staff, chief of the naval staff, chief of the air staff. So therefore, we don't have a problem. And finally,
sorry.
Finally, competition is good. It's good to compete with people. I compete with the best in Britain. I have business in 130 countries. Yes, competition has made you even better. If you eliminate all the competition from me, remove Jewish community, remove Muslim community, remove Hindu community, leave it with the Sikhs, we'll end up fighting with each other. So therefore, I love to have Pakistan one day becoming a secular and democratic country to stop infighting between various religious sectors in Pakistan, like Bangladesh has done. Bangladesh is now a secular country. It started an Islamic country. So, gentlemen, I wanted to give you a lot of prospectus where we are, what we are, and what we can do, historical factor. And but going forward, you have an amazing project and one that will be a catalyst for peace between the two countries, and that will lead to many bigger things.
I hesitate to interrupt, Lord Ranger. You've given us a very wide-ranging coverage of so many aspects of the issues we're facing today, particularly in northern India and Pakistan, in other countries as well. But I'd just like to ask initially for a reaction from Tony about the title for this particular project is the Indus Peace Park. Tony, do you have any response to Lord Ranger's observations?
Well, first of all, Lord Rainer, thank you very much for such a wonderful insight. And it just feels like you were talking on my behalf. We've experienced the same thing. I was born in this country. I went through the racism. But what's come out very much, which I didn't expect, is you have a very close relationship with Chaudhry Sarwar. He's met us. He knows you better than he knows us. I'm wondering if we could take advantage of your situation, and if you could speak to him, say, can you please grant us the land? Sooner they grant the land, the better, and we can begin the work. Because we don't want any funding, we just want the land to show what Rotary International can provide for the local people and the international community. So the key thing is to get the land and we can start the work. So I'm wondering if some way you can help on that.
Tony, this is a very, very simple. If you stick to Kartarpur corridor, which the government of Pakistan has already covered the area, made it very secure for people to come and go. Within that, you don't have to go into the Gurdwara itself, but somewhere in the corridor, there's a huge corridor, very long. Have you been to corridor?
No, because I have a.
Right.
I have a
Anyway,
problem
I
with-
am now, as you know, I'm the chairman of Pakistan Indian UK Friendship Forum, and Zach Goldsmith, he's now Zach Goldsmith is a very dear friend of mine. He is also the brother-in-law of Imran Khan. Do you know his wife, sister Jamila was married to Imran Khan? So and I also have a Pakistani surgeon, Dr. Ashraf Chauhan, very prominent doctor. He runs the Conservative Friends of the NHS. So we have been together for 25 years working on the peace project. And we were going to take a delegation to Modi and to Mr. Modi and Imran Khan to talk about peace and having a free trade agreement that, India, Pakistan can trade. Because when we start trading goods, we stop trading bullets. So that was the whole idea that Pakistan could benefit. 1.4 billion people market India around the corner. Pakistan won't be able to manufacture enough bats or footballs or clothes or whatever to feed those kind of people around the corner. So it's a win-win situation, but your project is very good. I can open any door for you. I'll introduce you to very prominent Pakistani. I met Imran Khan myself. He also wants peace. He's a thorough gentleman. So let me know whenever you want. I will get you invitation from the Governor House. You will be received by his entourage. So whatever you want. But I think practically, if you just insist, give us something within the Kartarpur corridor, logistically, it will be much easier because
Lord
it's already a cordon off area.
Lord Rami, it was Chaudhry Sarwar who said we should be in the corridor, and we agreed to that. It's not an issue. The issue is, when can we have that land assigned to us so we can start the work?
Okay, you can draft a proposal that you can just do an email to Chaudhry Saab. Just make a proposal that this is what we want to do. We need a piece of land. Measure the area. What sort of area do you want for the, how big area you want? And he should give you. I think you will get that free of charge, and because you're going to invest money to build the structure on top, so you'll get that free of charge, and there will be no issue, because there is now definitely a mood for peace, and Pakistan has already shown with the Kartarpur corridor that they want peace.
So, Lord Rami, with respect, we've done everything that you're saying we should do. Our counterparts in Pakistan have met him, they've surveyed the land. We just need him to say, right, here is the land you can have. That's all we need, and we can get to it. He's seen the proposals, he knows everything what we're doing.
Please send me an email, which I will forward it to Chaudhry Saab with my comments, and it will tell them that, please put a guy in charge with whom we can talk on a daily basis, and then we can come there and, get the land earmarked and get things going.
Perfect.
And you should involve Pakistan.
I was going to observe, you've given us the wide-ranging global view. This is a very small project in that sense, but it's a good weather vane. If Rotary and the Friends of Rotary can actually deliver this particular project, it's a great weather vane for the future of relationships. And that's why, I think that the project would really appreciate it, Lord Ranger, if you would actually be prepared to be a patron of whatever it is we're forming, which would be some form of Friends of
Mr. Johnson, it will be my great honor. And if I can do, like Mo said, he's living his grandfather's dream. I want to live my father's dream, who died for Hindu-Muslim unity. We didn't want to leave Pakistan. Nobody wanted to leave Pakistan. So unfortunately, what happened is happened. But what we can do is now build a better future for our next generation. They don't have to carry the baggage we carried.
President David, Bo has his hand up.
Oh,
Yes, yes. Didn't really want to come in there because everything was flowing quite well. I just want to say that it's really, really happy news in a sense of what Lord Ranger is saying. And I think when we're looking for a patron, it's almost like an arranged marriage. You have to find the character of the person, etc., before you agree to any marriage. And I think Lord Ranger's already been going down the same path as we have, parallel to us. On one side of the river, we've been on the other side, and now we can meet together and even be a bigger force. And I think Lord Ranger being a child of partition, and he rightly wants to leave a legacy in his father's memory, just like I do and other people do, for those innocent 1 million people who lost their lives. We want to make a memorial. Everything was fought over because of land. We want both the governments to give us land. Climate change is our biggest enemy. And as Lord Ranger said before, the Sikh religion has a certain sort of motto, which is seva. And in Rotary, we have service above self, which is exactly parallel to one another. The Sikh religion also is, if you look at bread, white bread and brown bread, whenever we go shopping, my wife insists we get the best of both. The Sikh religion is the best of both. You have Tony, who's a Hindu, I'm a Muslim, but we can see that the peace Sufi poets, or the Dickens and Shakespeare's of the Punjab, they are our united force as well. I mean, we have many Sufi poets. We have said many things. And one of the things I really did want to say to Lord Ranger, because I was emotionally taken, so many times I've cried watching interviews that Lord Ranger has given about what happened to his family. We have to really, really leave a legacy for everyone. We have to accept that both sides have got blood on their hands. There was no, victor. It was never a win-win situation. There's a famous quote, a copy by Bulleh Shah. And Bulleh Shah said, and I'll translate it, he said, Chalo bulia utte chaliye jithe sare anne, na koi sadi kadad bachane, na koi sanumane. And what that is basically saying is, let's build a place like this park where no one's going to judge you on your caste, creed, color, or anything. Anyone is welcome. Just like to a Gurdwara, you can get a free meal. Anyone can go into a Gurdwara temple and get a free meal. In the same sense, we want to create a space where Indian children can meet Pakistani children, build lifelong friendships. And Lord Ranger is a double doctorate. And he understands, and Imran Khan was one of the chancellors, is it, of the Bradford University. So and we've got so many other eminent people in our club and Friends of Rotary. We want to build a peace center there. So the exchange is always about solution planning, not about conflict, as Lord Ranger said. We've got 5,000 years of history, as I said early on. Most importantly, I'm so glad to hear the connections are already there. It's almost like the Rotary Club of London, the Indus Peace Park Society and Lord Ranger. When they're connected together, it's like a plug. The power that it can generate in terms of world peace is incredible. The public relations officer for Punjab Governor Sarwar is a Sikh gentleman. I'm in contact with him daily. He's excited. I'm at that level. I'm not obviously at the level that Lord Ranger is at, but on a ground-to-ground level, as Tony said before, we need to just have that land and then we can plant our seeds. The vision is this: we have members of the royal family, Aga Khan, the leaders of both countries, maybe ourselves as well, digging and planting trees in that area to create an atmosphere which is neither India nor Pakistan, but is an oasis of peace. Lord Ranger, on a personal level, brother to brother, when you talk about the trees in our culture in Punjab, we feel that trees are like mothers. They give you shelter on hot days. And mother's love, you can never replicate anywhere. And in Punjab, this is held dearly as it is around the world. Trees are very important. And as Lord Ranger's mother said, and we, Tony, myself, all of us have kind of kept us his mantra, even though we didn't know this initially, was never give up, never give in. And I think now I can see, thanks to the facilitation of the Rotary Club of London, bringing everything together, I can see this project actually having legs and actually happening. I can see someone like Lord Ranger and his stature as a patron, as a natural, synergy between all the projects. We're there to help. He's already done lots of groundwork, and I'm so excited, Lord Ranger, what you said and what has been facilitated here. And I'm looking forward. And one person we're forgetting here is Ranjiv, who Ranjiv is actually of a royal family. His family is the family. Sorry, my phone's going off, but throw the phone away. Doesn't matter. He's actually royalty. Did you know that? He's actually related to King Porus, who on both sides of the border is respected as the only one that stood up to Alexander the Great. And Lord Ranger also has a foresight and a vision, which I'm totally impressed with, to look at Imran Khan. His children are half Jewish. We've got another project in a pipeline between the Jewish community and the Muslim community. So this is just a springboard to other projects around the world. And as you said, President David, we want peace around the world. That is our motto, and we want equality for all. So it may sound a bit political what I'm saying, but I'm talking from the heart. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mo. One step at a time. And could I just bring in Case here? Case, you've been quietly listening to this, to the meeting to date. And you got up very early this morning to be with us. And I think your attention has been very gratifying. Would you like to just comment on what you've been hearing?
Sure. I actually have 3 points. But first, before I do that, I'd like to introduce Norma Carville, who just stepped away. I'll do that later when he sits back down. Lord Ranger, right from the beginning, it is, you commented on that there's no way that we can reunite India and Pakistan, and that never has been our position. Our position is that we would like to create an oasis of peace, and this is Mo's term. But actually, it's even more than that. It's to create the first oasis of peace. And the vision that I originally had was to pull the border apart. And I think you may have seen that diagram. And that is very similar to the International Peace Garden, which is on the border of the province of Manitoba and the state of North Dakota. And when we went to visit there, specifically to find out how that park operated, it's a 2,500 acre park, also created in 1932. We entered the park without any security controls, and we were able to travel on both sides of the border without, and so we could enter the United States from Canada within the park. And the only security and Customs and Immigrations was when we left the park. And since it was our intention to go from Canada, visit the park, and then go through the United States to Montana, it was when we left the park that we actually went through American Customs and Immigration. We don't see that model particularly will work. We will need to have, especially in the current times, security going into the park. But that concept of being able to go on both sides of the border within the park freely, where people can share their culture, their language, their food, their music, their dance, is foremost in our minds. And then the third point I'd like to make is that you mentioned Vancouver, and it was actually just yesterday that our group presented to the Mission Midday Rotary Club. And in that area, 1/3 of the population is of South Asian ancestry. And so as a result of a mix-up, actually a positive result of a mix-up, we are now going to present to the Abbotsford Rotary Club on June the 22nd. And I have asked the president to reach out to the Sikh, the Muslim, and the Hindu communities representatives to attend our presentation. So we are trying to reach out. I'm so excited that you wish to be a part of what we're trying to achieve. But right now I'd like to introduce Norm McCarville, who is the past district governor of District 5080. He was the one that caused me to go accidentally to Pakistan. He was the one that convinced me not to go to India, but to go to Pakistan and actually led the friendship exchange. He was also the one that got me into the governor line for Rotary. And he was also the one that introduced me or asked me to go to the Waterton Glacier meeting for my first meeting. And that led me to all sorts of things.
You muted, Case. You've gone on mute.
Have I been silent
Briefly.
all this time?
No, just briefly.
No.
You were briefly muted.
Oh, okay. So Norm, I'd like welcome to our session today. I'd like to introduce Norm to Lord Rami Ranger. Do you want to say a few words, Norm?
No, I'm usually the background person in this group, but I'm really pleased to be here and to meet you, Lord Ranger. I'm here to support Case, Tony, and Mo.
Thank you. We've had well, it's been a great presentation from every one of you, really, and thank you very much, Lord Ranger, for your massive contribution. The question is, what do we do next? And I think we have an understanding that Lord Ranger is prepared to be a patron of the group going forward. The group needs some form of crystallization structurally. We're thinking at the moment along the lines of Friends of the Indus Peace Park UK, because we see we don't want to have any conflict with organisations elsewhere in the world, but we do believe certainly that the Rotary Club of London can help with the London connections, and particularly with the Commonwealth connections in London. And we think if, with Lord Ranger's help, we can actually activate the goodwill that we know exists to overcome, if you like, Tony, the element, everything's agreed but nothing's happened, so let's make it happen. Or whether we actually need to have clarity of vision and say, no, we won't go there now because of this, but we'll keep it in the back of our minds for when it is the right time. I think we were all looking at this as a long-term project, which is why we've been concerned in the club about our continuation. And nobody's expects to change the world tomorrow. But if we can actually get this, in a sense, worldwide, this little project underway in 5 years, then that would be a success. I'd just like an observation on time frame and anybody's view on what should be the next step, and perhaps starting with Tony.
So, President David, thank you. Lord Rami, we already have a timeline to start the construction in Pakistan in August 2022. And we were on course, but COVID stepped in. And you are now our prime hope to get us to put the spade in the ground. If we can put the spade in the ground, that launches the project. Because the Indian Rotary Club of Calcutta, they want to build the eye hospital in Pakistan. And they're waiting there with the funding. So we just need the land so we can spade. So President David, we have a timeline of 2022 to start the project. Once we put the spade in the ground in Pakistan, then the Indian side can get to work to acquire the land on the other side. Until that happens, until we put the spade in the ground in Pakistan, we cannot even imagine where the land is going to be on the other side of the border in India, so we can't work on that. So I'm thinking if we can get by 2022, we can then plan forward. Lord Ranger, please.
Tony, I think we have now started something today. So step one, if you can kindly draft an email to Chaudhry Sarwar, the governor, that we had a discussion. You can mention my name. You can say, I spoke very highly of him, and we would like to have a piece of land within the Kartarpur corridor to develop a hospital or park or whatever you want to do, whatever the project is. So you will need, they need to get this approved as soon as possible, and they should put you in touch with the people who are connected with the land registry or whatever, who can give you that piece of land you want. So step one is to start with an email to them, and step two, I'm already going to Pakistan, COVID permitting, so we can all go, and you will receive VVIP treatment, because I have a business in Pakistan. I've been doing business. I have a lot of good friends with Pakistan India Friendship Forum, and we could really have a amazing time. And the hospitality of Pakistani people is out of this world. So I can tell you, if we can bring these two people together on this small project, we can bring them on a bigger project later on. So I think let's start with the first step is to write a letter outlining your project, outlining, brief, effective, and what we're looking for. And then I will push that. And I will also request you to bring on board some people, mover and shakers of Pakistan. There's a Dr. Ashraf Chauhan. If you write down his name and you can Google search him, he's an orthopedic surgeon. He's got a practice in Harley Street. He also is a very successful businessman with a, is it Dominion Pizza or Pizza, company? Domino Pizza. He's got about 20 of those as well, some couple of 3-4 nursing homes, and he comes from a very strong family. And incidentally, we're both from Gujranwala. So that's how we become so close to each other. So I would like you to bring him. He's the chairman of the Conservative Friends of NHS, the NHS. So he will be my insider dealer to speak from the Pakistan side. But I do have access to the governor's house. When we go there, we will be well received and we'll be hosted there. And I think we can go, Pakistan is a wonderful place, and you will love it. You will love the hospitality, I guarantee you today.
Thank you very much.
Some of the places in Pakistan are so beautiful that you'll forget Switzerland.
Well, I've done business with Sirikot, but I've never been to Pakistan. Okay, so is there other? Sorry, are there any other observations or points people would like to make?
Can I make one point, please?
Yeah.
Case, the other thing you mentioned the other day was you'd like Lord Ranger to talk on the United Nations Peace Day.
Yes.
Would that be a possibility?
So on September the 21st is the United Nations World Day of Peace. And it's our group, we started talking about the possibility of holding a virtual conference to promote our project. And now with you, Lord Ranger, being our patron, it might be a golden opportunity to spread to the world the powerful group that we have and to promote the park. So I was wondering if you might be willing to do that.
Always for this good cause, always. I've been doing it, for the last 20 years. So if I get more support from good people like you, it'll be something I have been dreaming about.
Further to that, we talked about another possibility, and that is perhaps at a Rotary International Convention, where Rotarians from tens of thousands of Rotarians gather from around the world. And perhaps if we can have you speak there as well to promote.
Sure. Let's do one thing at a time. And my next door neighbor is a guy called Max Mongia. He's the chairman of Rotary in this area. I think there's a branch in Mill Hill or Stanmore branch or something of Rotary. So he's quite powerful, and they built a eye hospital in Ghana a couple of years ago. So, you know, I know how passionate you people are and how, you know, you're contributing to the world. And so I admire your work, and I see if I can. So, unfortunately, I need to go because very soon there is a Bangladesh independence of 50th anniversary. So I am speaking there as well. So with your permission, if you can let me go with a couple of minutes, I'll be grateful.
Thank you very much indeed, and certainly, if somebody, Tony or Mo, produce a few notes of the discussion today, we can circulate those to yourself, Lord Ranger, just to make sure that we have no misunderstandings about what we've been discussing.
Indeed.
But otherwise, I think we have reached the conclusion that we were seeking from this meeting, and there's no reason to extend it and you know, put any pressure on yourself. Some others might like to stay for a post meeting discussion, but I suggest that we close the meeting at this point.